Two balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. This is way back. Welcome on.
What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel. I'm joined by Matt Moreno. Matt, we've got some news that sort of leaked out kind of under the surface last couple of weeks, which is Trevor Bauer was due $20 million of his 2021 salary, and that money was all paid out on November 30th. If those unfamiliar, reminder, Bauer signed a 3-year, $102 million deal last offseason. He made about $31 million in year one. He's due to make $35 million in 2022, another $35 million in 2023 if he does not opt out, in which case he would receive $15 million for the Dodgers. So, Matt, tons of big numbers being thrown around in what I just said. Obviously, there's speculation about whether he pitches for the Dodgers, but what do you make of all these big numbers and Bauer getting $20 million from the Dodgers just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, well, credit to Sport Track for having all the details of Bauer's contract with the team. I was surprised, honestly, when I came across it. I don't think it's something that was, I know we covered it on our website. I don't know how, outside of that, I don't know how much it was really written about.
Yeah.
And I think, I've been on these shows with you in the past, and I was saying, I think the Trevor Bauer situation is obviously going to impact the Dodgers in free agency. And I believe we saw that before the lockout obviously began. And I think now seeing that they had to write him, a $20 million lump sum check at the end of November, for me at least, lends me to believe even more so that, that was a factor in how the Dodgers have operated in free agency thus far. With Max Scherzer, there was a report that they didn't want to go to a third year.
Yeah. With
Corey Seager, it was reported that their big contract offer, which, 8 years, I think 200 and something million, included deferrals.
Got it.
I think for me, it's reasonable to kind of trace that back to A, Bauer was owed a lump sum at the end of November, and B, there is still a little bit of uncertainty with respect to next season and moving on. I know we don't expect him to pitch, but the Dodgers may very well still end up on the hook for his salary.
Yeah, and my understanding is they're going to have to pay him this money no matter what. The biggest question is whether or not this works against them from a luxury tax perspective. If he were to be suspended by Major League Baseball, the money would not count toward the luxury tax, so they would still owe him $35 million, but it wouldn't necessarily impact luxury tax purposes. Now, it is fascinating to say, has this impacted? Because early in the offseason, me, you, Daniel, we talked, and I was always of the opinion that what happened with Bauer's money was going to make an impact. But when I saw the numbers that Scherzer got, when I saw the numbers that Seager got, it's harder to say. Like, if Scherzer would have gotten a reasonable contract and the Dodgers didn't go there, then it would have been like, wow, this is complicated. But Scherzer getting the money and the years he did, Seager getting the money and years he did, I guess it's just harder for me to say definitively that Bauer played a role, because I think even if you had a wide open salary cap, I'm not sure I would have gone there with Scherzer or Seager. But the deferrals piece with Seager is interesting to me.
Yeah, that's definitely fair to say. I guess maybe, with Scherzer specifically, you could argue that the $20 million that they had to pay Bauer, coupled with, like we said, the uncertainty moving forward, was a factor in maybe the Dodgers not wanting to extend themselves to that third year for Scherzer, along with probably his age and some of the arm concerns that happened at the end of the postseason as well. Unfortunately, it's the Bauer situation is just a ton of uncertainty for the Dodgers, and it's not to belittle or make light of the off the field issues that came about, because those obviously are inexcusable. But we'll just kind of have to see where everything goes from here now.
Yeah, quickly. I mean, Trevor Bauer, you say, does or does not ever pitch for the Dodgers again?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think he pitches in Major League Baseball again?
I would be shocked, but not as surprised. I'd be the most surprised if he ever threw a pitch for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
If another 2 years, 3 years, maybe somehow some team takes a chance on him, if we're further removed from everything, if maybe more information comes out or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to pitch in the majors in 2022. So I would guess 2023 might be the soonest we'd see him on a team.
Yeah, and for him to be somewhere else, he would have to opt out. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like if he's not going to get $35 million a year from anyone else. So his best financial decision is just to stay with the Dodgers for 2 years, cash $70 million in checks. But if he's not going to pitch for the Dodgers, that means the earliest that he would be pitching for anybody else would be in the 2024 season, which is a whole nother ballgame. So fascinating to watch there. I'm with you. I don't think Bauer pitches for the Dodgers. I think because all of this happened under the Dodgers' watch, so to speak, while he was wearing a Dodger uniform, I think it is just more sort of like poisonous for his Dodger tenure. I would be surprised, like you, if he were to ever pitch again, because I just don't think he's a well-liked person. And yes, the pitching is good, but I just think he's so toxic, I think, as a personality and in fans, like having to justify bringing him in. Although we've seen teams like the Astros go sign Osuna, who had awful things on his track record as well. And so we'll see how this one plays out. But again, for the Dodgers, it's sort of a financial decision that they're in the midst of right now. They have to wait till Major League Baseball's investigation concludes, which it has not. And so we'll see how that plays out. But again, the headline here is that the Dodgers had to pay Trevor Bauer $20 million on November 30th. I'm sure that was not a check Mark Walter and company were happy to sign on November 30th. So we appreciate you joining us. As always, check out DodgerBlue.com for the latest Dodger Blue 1958 on social media. And make sure you're subscribed and ring the notification bell here, because even though there's a lockout, we're putting out content every single day. So that's Matt Moreno. My name's Jeff Spiegel. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.